Hello and good morning, everyone. Welcome to today's live Zoo to You. My name is Katie, and today we are going to be visiting our two roadrunners here at the Stone Zoo. If you have any questions about them through the course of our chat today, please feel free to ask them in the comment section, and we will do our best to answer them during our video. So we have two roadrunners here at Stone Zoo, and some of our most frequently asked questions about them are they boys or girls, and how do we tell them apart? So I'm going to teach you some of the roadrunner tips and tricks today. So we have, let's see, which one are we on right now?
Over here
on the log. Okay, so we have a trick for telling these two apart. These are both females, and they're actually a mom and daughter pair. So over on the log, you'll see hopping around is daughter. She is 4 years old, and her name is Rose. And you can tell her apart from mom because Rose has a small band, just like a bracelet, right on her ankle above her foot. Mom does not have that band. So sometimes we have to get a good look at their legs to be able to tell who is who. So Rose is 4 years old, and she actually hatched here at Stone Zoo. And then we also have Mom. Mom is named Catalina, and she is 9 years old. And she actually came to live at the Stone Zoo by way of Dallas Zoo. So she is a Texan, a Texan roadrunner. So we get a lot of questions, and you might also hear some of our macaws in the background. So we've got some other feathered friends joining us this morning. So we get a lot of questions about roadrunners and if they are really as fast as the media portrays them, and especially cartoons. So if you're watching live, if you have any guesses of how fast, how many miles per hour a roadrunner can run, please feel free to put your guesses in the chat, and we'll go over our answer in just a minute. So I want to see if anyone has a guess how fast our roadrunners can get. And while we're putting in our guesses, we can talk a little bit more about some of their adaptations. So one thing that is very cool about roadrunners, they're native to the southwestern United States. They're the national bird of New Mexico. So a lot of times people think they're just used to really hot, dry climates, which is true. It is hot in the desert, but at nighttime, and especially in the winter, temperatures in the desert can get really, really low. So they have some other adaptations to not only help them survive in the heat, but to also help them survive in the cold. So during those really cold nights, roadrunners are actually going to drop their body temperature. That's going to help them conserve energy in the cold. And then once the sun comes up and they start to warm up, they're going to fluff up all their feathers, kind of do a little shiver, and that's going to generate heat, trap it under all those down feathers, and help their bodies warm back up again. So, Rachel, have we had any guesses come through of how fast roadrunners can run?
We have had a 15, a 20, and a 30 miles per hour.
Oh, nice. We're all kind of in the same general ballpark. So roadrunners can reach speeds of up to 15 miles an hour. Coyotes, however, can reach speeds of up to 40 miles an hour. So if you grew up watching cartoons like I did, you will notice that our roadrunner cannot outrun a coyote. So coyotes are, in fact, much faster than roadrunners. So we were, misled while we were growing up. So they do share a general range. So that tells us that if a coyote did encounter a roadrunner and they were hungry enough, that roadrunner would probably become a snack for that coyote. So while we're talking about snacks and diets, let's talk a little bit about roadrunners and what they eat. Roadrunners are carnivorous, so they are carnivores. They're going to be feeding on things like insects and also small vertebrates like lizards, different mammals like mice. And one thing that might surprise a lot of folks is they can also catch and safely eat rattlesnakes, which I think is so cool. That's a really unique adaptation for an animal to be able to safely ingest a species that is venomous. So that actually ties a lot into different indigenous cultures in the Southwest and their cultural beliefs about roadrunners. So in those indigenous cultures, roadrunners are often associated with magic, strength, and courage, and that is because of their willingness to fight and take on rattlesnakes, which I think is just so cool. So although they're a pretty small bird, they're very tough, which I think is, one of the most unique things about them and their size. So have we had any questions come in about roadrunners that I could answer?
Yeah, so Anne had been wondering if they're new to the zoo because she hadn't seen them here before.
Oh, that's a really good question, and actually a pretty common question we get. They are easy to miss. So they are not new to the Stone Zoo. If you're familiar with the zoo and our layout, they're actually located right in between the Chicoan peccary and bush dog exhibits, right on that same kind of left-hand side as you're walking through the zoo. So if you do come back to the zoo, Anne, you'll have to make a pit stop and say hello to Catalina and Rose.
And then we had, these are connected. Someone commented meep meep. And Lexi asked if they really make a meep meep noise.
I don't know the answer to that. I do know that they can make some different clicking noises. It's not going to be a true meep meep like in the cartoon, but they do make different vocalizations.
Do our keepers train with these guys?
Oh, that's a good question. Our keepers do some training with them. They were also really involved with Rose's upbringing and helped to hand rear Rose. So she is very used to our keepers. Our roadrunners will be trained to do things like station. That means come to a specific area, and that helps us get a good look at them, to do a nice health check on them and make sure they're looking nice and healthy and don't have any injuries. So that's really the extent of our training with roadrunners, but they are a very trainable species.
Do females mate with the same male?
Oh, that's a very good question. Not that I know of. I don't know much about their social structures and if they are monogamous, but I can tell you that there is little to no sexual dimorphism between males and females. So that means that it is really difficult to tell by eye a male versus a female. They're the same with their colorations. Sometimes in some bird species, males will have nice bright colors, but not with roadrunners. They have the same colors and they're also the same general size. But that's a good question. I'm not quite sure about that monogamy question. We'll have to look it up and get back to you.
Well, I think we're about out of time. We don't have any more questions.
All right. Well, thank you all so much for joining us this morning. If you stop by the Stone Zoo, please make sure to say hello to Catalina and Rose, and we'll see you on our next live video. Bye.